The St. Louis City units and all the St. Louis County units who assisted us. There was quite a few people here and worked real hard to get this fire out. The main issue with this building is it's an old building. There's several layers of floors in there from rehab over the years and several roof layers over the years. So the fire was chasing through each of the void areas, not only in the floors and in the walls, but in the roof of the building itself. To complicate that, the rear roof has a rubber roof membrane on it that kept the water from going through it. So once the fire burned through that part of the roof, we were able to get some water onto the fire because we had already had partial collapse of the roof at that time. So any questions?
I understand it's still under investigation.
Yes, it's still under investigation. St. Louis County Bomb and Arson is here. I have nothing to do with the investigation. They take care of that, and they're collecting footage from people and such to just to look over. But at this time, we don't suspect that there's anything, but a building of this size, it's just normal protocol.
So can you speak to some of the challenges that may have occurred leading up, especially the loop trolley line?
The loop trolley line wasn't too much of a problem. We know it's here. We trained for it to be here. So it really wasn't in a way. As you can see, our ladder truck was able to get off to the side and get over the top. The main issue we had was the back of the building was the main part of the fire, and I don't know if anybody's seen that back there, but that is just a ton of electrical wires that run up and down there. So the loop trolley one, we were able to work around. The back side, we weren't able to get where we really needed to be.
What happens in that respect? Are you talking with Ameren and shutting down the grid?
We didn't have to on this one. We were able to, it took a little while, but to position the trucks to get in a position where they could operate to get up where they needed to be.
Do you have an estimated cost? Is there any sort of estimated cost of damage? And just also with these buildings that were the most damaged, like Three Kings, it looks like a total loss on the inside. Can you just talk about some of that?
Well, I mean, it's the whole building is going to have to be rebuilt. There's no doubt about that. As far as the total loss, I don't know. Once they get structural engineers in here and they look at the structural parts of the building that hold it up, then they will know. Now, the back side of the building, it's kind of an annex that extends further than the apartments that you see up there. Them walls did collapse on that part, but that's like the kitchen area, storage area for Three Kings.
And you alluded to the building being old. Can you talk any more about potential cause, or is that just all going to have to sort of wait till investigation?
That's going to have to wait till the investigation is done. So.
Iron Age wasn't as affected. Can you speak to maybe why that particular structure and how that?
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, St. Louis City, St. Louis County, all the departments, they got here quick. You know, with the type of dispatch system we have, we're all dispatched at the same time, so they're coming just as quickly as we are. So we were able to get firemen in positions to meet the objective. We knew that the back end of the building was going to go down. There was no doubt about it. It was already through the roof. So our objective was to save the apartments and save the buildings next door. So in doing so, we positioned the firefighters in the proper positions to protect them buildings. So Iron Age had no water damage, no structural damage. They have some smoke. Of course, smoke got in there, but other than that, nothing inside of their building.
And I know that the city has said these, but when they'll be able to reopen.
I'm sorry?
When will Iron Age be reopened? What needs to happen?
That I don't know. The Department of Health is here now inspecting it, and that's between them and the Department of Health.
And how many fire personnel were totally on scene today?
That I don't know, but I will have Mary get that to you as soon as we add up what we had here.
Three alarm. You had three different.
Oh yeah, it was 3 alarm. We had several companies. It was lined up for about 3 blocks.
Can you talk about what it's like, what it looks like what they're wearing, or when they're going in? What can they see? Or?
Well, today it was burning so heavily that it was hot enough that it was burning up a lot of the smoke. So they were able to see the fire pretty much from the door of Three Kings throughout the whole building. So of course, when you start putting water on it, you create steam, which then lowers your visibility. So, you know, I don't know. You know, they were. I don't know.
Are they checking by hand then, or
Yeah, I mean, at that point, yeah, it's like any other fire. You know, a lot of times you think that a spectacular fire or, you know, a bad fire is one that's vented and you see the flames. You know, that's easier the ones where you only see the smoke, because the smoke's contained inside the building. So when it vents itself, it works like a flue, and it'll draw some of that smoke out. It makes it a little easier until you get in there and start working. Then once you get to working, the visibility goes away.
Chief, did you say that county investigators are obtaining footage, and what kind of footage are we talking about? Footage
Just people who live in the area that just happen to be here or happen to be awake when it happened or woke up because it started. So that's all the footage they have right now. I don't know of any footage from inside the building.
And can you talk about the extent of the injuries to the firefighter? I know you described it as minor. Is it smoke inhalation?
No, it was more several trusses and the ceiling come down on top of them. They were stunned and shook up for a little while, but they're okay.
You
Just
guys,
some aches and pains.
you guys trained for this, obviously, but it seems like a successful putting out of this fire.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, like I said, the objective was we knew what was going to come down because of the intensity of the fire, and we knew what we were going to try to save. And as you can see behind me, it's still standing. The apartments are still standing. There's some damage where we pulled the walls apart to put the fire out and in the walls and in the ceilings and some places in the floor. But structurally, that building's still standing, and like I said, Iron Age is fine.
How many residents in total were evacuated?
That I don't know, because the residents had evacuated themselves before we got here. Every apartment was searched, though, just to make sure.
Were there working smoke alarms in those apartments, you know?
That I do not know offhand.
And you talked about training around kind of the tram, the trolley.
Correct.
The trolley lines. Can you talk about what that training entails? What obstacles do they need to build the trolley flows and combat fires on buildings?
What we look at is each building, and we have a pre-fire plan for each building, and we look at where these lines run and the best positions that we can set the trucks up in on the loop area.
And so you're talking about setting up trucks so that the water isn't impeded by the lines? Or can you talk a little bit more about?
Well, in the back, the electric lines impeded the first truck that we were going to put up back there. And when I say that, it took a little longer than we would like for it to set up a ladder truck back there, just because we were dodging electric lines. So, so it took us a little longer to get them in position, but we were able to do so. Now out here, as you can see, that truck's positioned around the lines. We did send a crew down to check the lines at the trolley station to make sure that these lines were shut down and grounded, which they are.
Last question, are we good? Let the chief go to sleep? Perfect. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.